was definitely under 5,000 a month. Um, yeah, like I was able to get orders in, but like I knew that I needed to scale. I did 35,000 that month. So didn't reach the 100K, but like I'm not as worried about that anymore. I know that I'm gonna get there. Whenever you have a day where like you break a new record, you get pumped, you know. I mean, my main problem has been selling out. That's been my main limitation.
Yeah.
So I just have to like continue, you know, ordering more and then selling more. Like I really like resonated with the philosophy of the program where you guys are teaching us how to think. Because that's where what I felt was lacking before. Like I felt like my hands were always tied and I was kind of like waiting for answers from someone else, which is sometimes convenient, but like I didn't really feel like I was doing. So I really liked learning how to think for myself and just learning how to ask the questions and do the testing to get the information that I want. And that also gave me a lot of freedom to like um, decide what to do next. The training was really in depth, which is another thing I really needed. I was worried actually about how in depth the training would be. And then I was like, oh, I'll knock this out in 2 weeks. And it took me 6 weeks to get it all
Yeah.
because it's hefty. And then yeah, the calls, like everything. I thought the whole beehive mentality thing was genius. Um, just the fact that anything's searchable and that the information is collective and shared and hearing other people's questions and like that. I mean, you guys did a great job. I have a infant and toddler like sleepwear apparel brand called Raising Mama, and we create like really soft thermoregulating pajamas so that helps babies sleep better. But then we also have like a strong emphasis on maternal mental health. So the prints have like reminders on them to mom, and we donate $1 for every pajama to Postpartum Support International. And we have like free resources and stuff. So I just felt like I was lost strategically. Um, because I had been in e-commerce before, but like I had never just started from ground zero. So, and again, like the ads that you guys make, like it spoke to me. There's like a million different decisions, a million different directions to go, and I really felt like I was spread thin. So, but meta ads were the one thing that I actually didn't know anything about. I knew Amazon, I knew that like, you know, the other avenues, email marketing and so on, but and social, but I did not understand meta, and that scared the living shit out of me. Because how can I hire someone? How can I like if I can't audit what they're doing, if I don't know what I'm doing, then what do I do? Right. So that was
Mhm.
like um my biggest challenge, just feeling lost and then needing to decide like what to do next. Like, do I hire a consultant? I actually had a consultant and I was starting to not fully like trust what was happening there
Mhm.
because it was just amplifying this like being spread thin situation. Like I had a Trello board with like a million different avenues that I had to be working on, like SEO, blogging, you know, so I just like I couldn't possibly spend enough time and energy on like one thing to get that one thing far enough along. And so I felt like I was just like moving at a snail pace because I was trying to do everything at the same time. You know, I like dabbled with in like influencers, like I use Social Cat to get like kind of low cost influencers.
Mhm.
I was doing the social media stuff. I was dabbling in Meta, but like I didn't really know what I was doing. Um, and yeah, that was big. And I was also like considering starting Amazon, but I just like I felt like something wasn't right. Something just didn't make sense. And then I did have like a marketing consultant, uh, but like there was a strategy aspect missing. Like I still felt like a lot of it was on me to like figure out like what the next step is. It was more of a how to do like a list of like 30 things,
Yeah.
but it was like assumed that we're supposed to do all 30 things at the same time. So in a
Mhm.
way, like it was good because I got like a foundation on all of the things, but then once this sort of foundation was there, it was like, okay, well, what do we do next? You know, I interviewed a few different programs, and I got kind of bad vibes from a couple of them, but I got
Mhm.
great vibes from the sales call that I had. And then I was just kind of like, F it, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And the 24 hours, I was like so relieved. I was like, thank God that wasn't a bad idea. Like, I don't think this information is anywhere else on the internet. Like, I don't know
Mhm.
how I would have learned any of it. Um, and especially learning the things and putting them together within a, a puzzle that like makes sense and like makes a good strategy. For example, like if you go and watch YouTube videos, you can learn how to do all of these things, but you don't really know like why you're doing them and how to use them all together at the same time. Whereas this was like a very like mapped out process, plus all of the kind of like insider secrets on like what to do and what not to do. There's all the
Mhm.
actual like features of the program, which is why I think it works. I mean, the features would be like the beehive mentality. I think that the energy is really good in the community. I think that people really want to help each other, and I think that your staff is impeccably trained. The training is done very well. It's brass tacks, and it like doesn't bullshit. Um, and I like that there's also varying degrees of like expertise within the group. Like I just
Mhm.
like I eat up, like it's not just the people in charge, but it's also the people in the community that I learn from. And then just teaching us how to think for ourselves. But I think at a deeper level, I always felt in the training like Daryl actually like cared. And I know that sounds cheesy, but like I just felt like it came from a place where like you were actually trying to help people, and you thought long and hard about what is the best way to help people. So in that way, it was really empowering. And I think having that trust with the company, for one, makes it a hell of a lot easier to fork over money to them, but it it makes you feel more confident in yourself. But I mean, anyone's going to be skeptical because you know there's a fine line between, you guys can't exactly tell us everything that we want to know about the program because it's proprietary until we pay, right? So there's like a leap
Mhm.
of faith that has to happen. But I just followed my gut and did it.
You got
But it was
steady Christian.
it was immediately gratifying, you know, to
Mm.
kind of get what was happening in the program and what the journey was going to be like. Basically, I no
Mm.
longer think of like people like you and Daryl as like gurus that are going to tell me how to run my business.
Mm.
You know, I mean, you could, but like you guys give great advice, um but I feel much more empowered to like make my own decisions now and ask
Yeah.
my own questions.
Oh man, that's so
It's it's the scientific approach that like I
Mhm.
definitely vibe with, and it makes way more sense because all of this like really is just science. So it's totally normal to feel skepticism, because that means that you're utilizing some logic and like you're weighing pros and cons and risks and stuff, but that um there's without a doubt like enough information and enough support within the program, and that it's built in a way that's like not gimmicky and is based on like logic and reasoning and the scientific method, that you know, as long as they're committed to it, that it's like almost guaranteed success. And I think that they'll also learn a lot about themselves along the way, so I would take the jump.